Good afternoon, and welcome to Network at Noon, where we highlight people and programs that are changing the game for small business owners and entrepreneurs across Alabama. I'm your host, Naila Jackson, Network Navigator, and today's conversation is all about access, impact, and alignment. Joining me today is Abby Shumate and Jeremy Duckworth of the Central Alabama Redevelopment Alliance, also known as CARA. And it's an organization doing the real work of building up for profit and nonprofit leaders through practical resources and bold vision. So we're highlighting two incredible opportunities: the micro business accelerator and the nonprofit accelerator, which are really only two pillars of the multitude of opportunities, workshops, and partnerships that Kara has going on. So, Abby and Jeremy, welcome. So excited to have you here today with Network Navigator. And for those who may not be familiar with Kara and their mission and what you seek to do, tell us a little bit about who you are, who you work with, who you support, and what areas you cover across the state.
Before we jump into that, I just got to say, I want the most views possible today on this live. So if you're watching this or hear my voice, tune in because we got something important to tell you guys. And then secondly, I want to say this. Thank you to Ms. Jackson for building a platform for business owners, nonprofits, community stakeholders to come together and learn about resources, right? I don't know how many countless hours of sleep you had to miss because of thinking about this and planning it, but just want to say thank you for building this. And Abby, you can jump into our mission.
Okay, perfect. Well, CARA is an economic development organization. Our goal is to serve for profits, nonprofits, and regions and communities as a whole. By building up those small businesses and nonprofits, we can really expand the impact that we're making, expand the impact that they're making, and overall, just really fighting for small business owners, nonprofit leaders, so that way they can make a difference in their community.
That's exactly right. And I don't want to say too much, right, to spoil what you might ask later. But we really want to be, and we have thrived to be what I would call a true service organization. The most respect that I've ever gotten is always somebody saying, "Hey, thank you for serving me." Right? Do you feel that same way?
Absolutely.
And so I know Miss Jackson feels the same way too. And so for us, we want to be that resource provider, but not just be it, but we are going to be that for the small business ecosystem. And that includes also those EDOs out there who are serving other small business owners. We want to come alongside them and make sure they're strong as well.
I love that. I absolutely love that. I love the partnership. Kara has been an amazing partner of Network Navigator. So the service piece of it that you speak of, I can be a testimonial to that. It is amazing. It is a partnership. It's not a come in and just kind of let me tell you what to do, but it's what is your vision? How can we help you? How can we walk alongside you? And the amazing impact that I've seen happen with small business owners, it is, I can't describe it. So I'm really excited to be having this conversation today because I want the world to know just how impactful Kara is and what, it's kind of like that secret weapon that you have in your pocket as a business owner because you have this support and so much access to resources. So let's get into the why. And Jeremy and I have had many conversations about this, and there are just not a lot of entities that look to support nonprofits, right? Nonprofits are kind of complicated to some people, so they don't touch them. It's kind of easier to deal with for profit than it is for nonprofit. So why did Kara choose? And I may have already answered the question, but why did Kara choose to assist and walk alongside nonprofits as well as for profits?
For me, off for
Uh-oh.
summer, so I felt like I was rich, right?
Will
And
you
so,
start over for me? Because
say
I
it
think
again.
we had a little technical glitch. I didn't hear you. So start over for me. I'm sorry.
Yeah, so for me, I grew up with means, completely spoiled. My parents did a great job providing, but also protecting, preserving. And I know what it's like to have margin in your life to make mistakes. And I made plenty of mistakes growing up, right? But only because of my support system around me. The nonprofit sector serves as our support system around our community. And when we have anemic nonprofits, that means weak nonprofits, right? Then we have a weak support system. And if our support system is weak, then we don't have a margin for error, right? And so we realize at Kira, through our strategic board, through our community stakeholders, through several people telling us, hey, what are you going to do for those nonprofits that are those grass top organizations that want to make a difference, but don't have those relationships with the corporate Americas or those corporate foundations? What are you going to do for them? You know what we said? We're going to help them. We're going to help them accelerate. And so for us, it's not just doing another accelerator program. For us, we want to make sure that families in those communities are flourishing and are able to feed their families. And if we can help them do that through a nonprofit accelerator, that's what we're going to do. Abby, what are your thoughts?
I feel very similarly. I think that it's really important to put a focus on the nonprofit sector because they're going to make a lasting community impact. While for-profit businesses obviously do the same thing, it's with the work of partnerships and strategic planning that helps the community grow.
One of the things I want to mention also, before we promoted Abby about, I guess, is it 6 months now?
Mm-hmm.
I would say 3 months because I want to give her 6, right? Let's say 3 months ago, right? Really 6, but I'll take her time away. Is that we thought she emailed me and said, Jeremy, I would like to take lead and drive the nonprofit accelerator. And I thought that was just so unique. And I'm just curious, what was in your heart that you saw that you're like, man, I can make a difference, that you can make a difference?
Mm-hmm. So we host nonprofit luncheons once a month. We do those on the third Wednesday, and we have a variety of different topics. In the past couple of months, it's really expanded. But for the first ones that we were doing, I noticed that a lot of nonprofit leaders had a lot of questions that they didn't know how to get answers for. I think there is a surprising amount of competition in the nonprofit sphere, and people are not super willing to look to others for help and assistance because they don't want that other organization to maybe start doing what they're doing. But whenever you're not worried about the credit, like Kara is just wanting to help people, then it's no longer a worry because we are just interested in passing on as many resources as possible.
I love that. And there's the other thing that I love about Kara is it's not just about access, right? A lot of times you have this conversation and people say, you know, a lot of times all entrepreneurs or nonprofit leaders needs is a chance, an opportunity, or an opportunity to have access to someone or something. But Kara helps you steward that access, right? Because what is access without knowing what to do with that access? You can get $1 million, right? And you could be broke next week if you don't know how to steward that. And that's what I love about this conversation we're having and what I'm hearing that Kara is doing for not just for profits, but nonprofits as well, helping them to steward that access that they have the ability to have while partnering with Kara. So, you know,
May I say something? May I say something as well?
yes.
One of the things that we saw that I think we saw early on as an organization of just people, right? You look at an organization, you think, oh, that's walls, buildings. We're just people. But we saw that, okay, take a child, right? A child doesn't know how to cross the street by themselves. You have to take their hand and willingly do this with them over and over again. Now, my son is even 14 years old. Now, people think he's intelligent, right? Like they assume that he's at Space Academy right now, so they think he's really smart. But can I tell you, I still got to tell him, Xander, look both ways when you cross the street, and that's what we're here for. No matter what the nonprofit, no matter what level you get to as a for-profit business, we're going to be here right beside you saying, hey, look both ways before you cross the street. And also, could you tell her a little bit about the last nonprofit luncheon that you guys had with the Alabama Office of Minority Affairs a little bit?
Yeah, absolutely. So last week, or maybe the week before, we had our June nonprofit luncheon, and our speaker was Trinity Hummons. She's the chief of staff at the Alabama Office of Minority Affairs, and she is really interested in making sure people know what is out there. She talks all the time about how there are federal and state dollars that people just don't know about, and once they do know about them, they'll maybe submit an application, and their paperwork will not be up to the standard of the office, or they might not have a clear goal in mind, and so the office won't be able to give them that funding. And so we all just really work together to not only learn where to find that funding, but how to make sure you're securing it once you've applied for it. And then after that, making sure that you use that funding and can keep continuing to apply for that money.
That's what I wanted you to talk about, because it goes back to the stewardship piece, Ms. Jackson. So thank you for mentioning that. Thank you.
Awesome. I love Trinity and I love the whole team down there. So shout out to Director Robinson. Hey girl. So, as we go on, I know we've talked a lot about the nonprofit sector, and I really wanted to make sure that people fully understood the part that Kara is playing in building strong, productive, nonprofits that are going to stand the test of time and helping them build strong foundations. And because that's not something that we commonly see in our ecosystem, but we still do work with for-profit. So I want to kind of go over and switch gears a little bit to talk a little bit about the Minority Accelerator, the Minority Business Accelerator. I'm sorry, I got tongue-tied. That we are currently running through Kara. And I know that some of the spots are already gone. Tell us if you still have some openings, what can people expect, and who exactly is this designed for? Who's the target audience here?
So I got to switch gears a little bit, right? Are you ready? So I got to get back into a gear like that. I don't know, but you take the first one. This one.
So the Jefferson County Micro Business Accelerator is there to serve for-profit organizations that have 9 or fewer employees. We don't have any kind of revenue cap on that, just as long as you're meeting that employee requirement. Some other criteria that we look for is that you filed your recent tax returns, that you have a active business license, and that you give back to your community in some way. So we have the organizations where their give back is very clear, very obvious. A recent graduate, Meds Plus Consulting, they go around the city and they make sure that people are getting the health information that they need, not just giving them the prescriptions, but how to change their outcomes. But we also have Khadijah Page, K Page Hair Studio, and she's a hairstylist, and her way that she gives back to the community is every few months she partners with the Love Lady Foundation, and she does free hairstyles for women who have recently been incarcerated. So just really emphasizing that even these for-profit sectors, we are hoping to build the community up. It's great to go to work and help people out, and obviously these small business owners need to make the money that they need to support their families, but growing the community in Birmingham through small businesses, there really has to be an element of giving back involved as well.
Yeah, and I would say what they can expect are 3 components, right? One is what we call the educational component. That's where we have workshops on a weekly basis, at least 24 workshops you're going to get experience to. So you have accounting, marketing, strategic planning, operational management. But outside of the educational component, we also have a hands-on component called Entrepreneur Lab and Business Improvement Teams, where we have experienced, seasoned veteran executives and entrepreneurs who come back to mentor small business owners, right? That's that stewardship again, that hand-holding again that we're talking about. So as you're going through the educational component, you can also get coaching on how to apply that education to your small business. And if you have those crazy harebrained thoughts that I have at night, right, that I text Abby and Daryl about at 12 o'clock or whatever, they can ignore that. Don't worry about that. Even though I text them, just, still follow up, still do that. But so you have that crazy idea, you have somebody you can run it by, right? And so it's a healthy balance of education and hands-on help. And we have peer mentors. These are people who graduated our program who can come back and mentor the small business owners as well. How do you maximize this accelerator, right? And so that's what you can expect out of it. It's a 9-month program. 10 months, I guess, September, May. But we're so excited about it because it'll be our 6th cohort. And so we're looking forward to this big time. Anything else I left out, Abby?
Yeah, I'd just like to talk about the Entrepreneurial Lab a little bit more. That's in partnership with the UAB Entrepreneurship Program. And what I really like about that is the involvement with the students. As a UAB graduate myself, and I was in the School of Business as well, I know that it's really important for these students to have a clear idea of what their future holds. So our entrepreneurs will go in and get help from the students, bounce ideas off the students and the professors as well, but also be able to show the students what it is like to be run your own business. So it does not look the same as working for someone else. It can be much more difficult and challenging than these students expect. But with this helping hand, they can go into it a lot more prepared.
The one thing I love about this program, right, is that it's not just you're learning from people who think they know what they're talking about. Our professors start with Scott Stone, who's what I would call a seasoned CFO, who's had his own companies, started startups, bought companies, merged companies. These are people who've done it. And then we also have Dr. Baker, who's been an executive and had her own company as well. And then we also have Richie Bruce, who's also an executive with EOS. And so you're learning from the best of the best practitioners, not the best of the best talkers, the best of the best people who actually do this on a daily basis. And they've done it and they've taught others how to do it. Right.
Absolutely.
I love this. I mean, having the access to those professionals, and I love the component of the students and their fresh minds, because although they're learning, they're able to give some feedback
Yeah.
to some of the business owners in some of the newer, trendier ways that you're able to reach new crowds, new customers, new fresh audiences that you may not have known how to, or that even existed. So this is phenomenal. I am so excited about this. This is wonderful. And the I already know that the community service piece that has Jeremy's name all over it. So I know so let's talk outcomes when it comes to these two accelerators. And y'all can take one apiece, or y'all can, collaborate and
Um,
go back and forth.
I
But when we
like
talk
I like tag teaming. I
Yeah,
like
okay,
tag teaming.
do that.
You know what I'm saying? So
so
one of the
outcomes, and you said that people will walk away. I know from the Minority Business Accelerator, growth plans, capital strategies, and new customer pipelines. And so, what does success from this accelerator look like for the participants in both of these accelerators?
we always start with what we call new capital investment, right? Um, I hate to say this, but I do believe it's hard. It's two ways to underfund a mission or a business. One is leadership. We start there, leadership. The second is dollars, which is funding. So we always look to increase new capital investment in both the nonprofit and that for profit. That means new dollars being invested back into that business, right? Because both are small businesses. The second is job growth, right? We want to make sure that these companies are providing more jobs. I believe that in Jefferson County alone, it's a multi-billion-dollar industry for the nonprofit sector. And nobody talks about that. But there's a lot of jobs that are at stake to make sure the nonprofit sector is healthy and sustainable. And so we want to keep increasing those jobs as well. And then third, I would say increasing revenue, right? Nonprofits can make money, right? People are like, no, they can't. Yes, they can. You can sell your services at a nominal cost, right? And so you can do that and also give out scholarships as well. And so we always want to increase that revenue, either for customers, for the for-profit, or even for that nonprofit in selling services, right? And people are like, well, how do you do that? Well, that's why we have the nonprofit lunches. And I know I left a lot out, Abby. So
Yeah, I would like to talk specifically about the Micro Business Accelerator, the for-profit side. We had our graduation in May, and we have already seen a lot of changes and a lot of positive changes from these small business owners. Our business owners have hired up to 5 new employees between part-time and full-time. And then we also have a recent graduate who just really scaled her business, and that's kind of the outcome we're hoping for. So she started as a caterer, she came into our accelerator with a food truck, and she left our accelerator with a brick and mortar business.
hold on. Yeah, that's awesome.
So we're just really looking for tangible outcomes. The modules with the professors are super helpful, and as Jeremy said, because they are experienced business owners themselves. But what we're also looking for is change that comes out of it, whether that is a clear increase in revenue, a clear increase in employees, or an entirely different location.
And I think in January, that same business owner got a new loan.
Yes.
Was the amount?
$100,000 from the SBA she was able to secure.
You see that? That's real results, right? And so for us, people talk about business acumen. Well, I don't know how to measure that because there's not a test for that, right? Business acumen test. We don't have a test for that. But what I can measure are dollars and jobs going into a new business and new customers, right? That's what we can measure. And so for us, we want to make a difference for our team, for the organization, and also the board. I know they charge us and hold us accountable. And if we don't do this, right, there are consequences, right? I think they were trying to replace me. I think it was last week with Abby. I was like, already, guys? And so we got to come through for our community. And so I'm really just excited about Abby's growth, seeing the whole team. We have a young brother named Adam Woodson who does our media production. Ty Woodson, who does our communications coordinator, she's killing it as well. And so I'm just excited about the whole team just growing right now. So
I'm really excited about this. I think Network Navigator needs to sign up for both of these programs because I'm a little jealous of the impact. And the one thing about it, numbers don't lie. People can say what they want to say. When there's true impact and the numbers speak for themselves, there's nothing to deny there. So tell us this. You've excited us. You've given us all this information. You have pumped us up, and we're super excited to learn more and to get involved with Kara. How do we do that? Where do we go? How do we apply for these accelerators?
Now, SARNOW.org. They are one right after micro accelerator, the top, and the nonprofit accelerator. Applications are extremely straightforward. We're looking for to tell us the type of business that but then we also do response.
Oh, goodness. It looks like I lost them. They should pop right back on. But I did want to share that visit caranow.com. That's www.caranow.org. I apologize, .org. And that website is in the comments if you want to apply for the Micro Business Accelerator or you want to apply for the Nonprofit Accelerator. Please visit www.caranow.org in order to apply for either one of these accelerators. And you're back.
I'm back. Can we give a couple of shout outs? Just want to shout out City Councilor Daryl O'Quinn and also City
Repeat your shout outs one more time. We lost you. You broke up. We got Daryl again. Who else did we need to shout out?
Councilor Daryl.
I keep losing you. It's Daryl O'Quinn, and we are shouting out District
18 more.
JT Moore.
JT Moore. Okay.
Yeah, because here's why. At first, I'm like, why would you help?
We lost them again, guys. But what they wanted to do, they wanted to shout out Counselor Daryl O'Quinn. And
and they said, why would you want to have a nonprofit accelerator? I said, because our ecosystem needs it, right? We have to have a strong nonprofit ecosystem. And and these guys believed in it. And so just want to say thank you to them for all that they're doing. And also shout out to Innovate Alabama for sponsoring our Jefferson County Micro Business Accelerator. And also want to say thank you to the Alabama Office of Minority Affairs for sponsoring our Jefferson County Micro Business Accelerator. And and the Jefferson County Commission as well for sponsoring our programming too. Without our sponsors, this stuff could not exist. I mean, we love you guys, but I don't know how long I work for free.
Well, we do appreciate sponsors that believe in our work. So we are so grateful, and thank you guys for all that you do that helps to filter back down into the ecosystem. And this help is just something that you cannot, money can't buy it for these business owners. This is something that would have to be put together by someone like an organization like Kira. So thank you so much for all that you do.
Thank you guys. You're welcome. We appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having us on here. We love the work that Network Navigator is doing, and we hope to keep supporting y'all through your journey.
Amen.
I appreciate it. I love having partners like Kira. It makes my job so much easier. So thank you so much. And guys, that wraps up today's Network at Noon. So follow me at Navigate BHM on both Facebook and Instagram, and follow Central Alabama Redevelopment Alliance at caranow.org. You can apply for any of the accelerators, but you can find them on social media as Central Alabama Redevelopment Alliance on all platforms. So stay up to date on more opportunities, stories, and ways to connect. Now, we believe in building ecosystems and not silos. And today's conversation was a beautiful reminder of what happens when community and capital come together. So until next time, stay rooted, stay ready, and keep moving forward. Bye.